I did the impossible. I got my wife back, and I couldn't be happier. Uh, and like by this point, we had filled in the separation papers, so we were basically a hop, skip, and a jump away from divorce. Like
Hmm.
she's like, I don't know why I was getting angry at you. I don't know why it was frustrating me, but it was.
Hmm.
Now it's like now it's like almost like I can't do any wrong. But the more I connected with Noah, the more it made sense to um like I had lost my way and I needed to become the hero that she fell in love with. I was under the impression that for a majority of my marriage we were in a good place, and then COVID hit and my wife was forced to deal with me every day.
Mm.
And she just she just realized that we weren't going anywhere. I wasn't growing. I'd grown stagnant, and didn't really want to improve anything in my life, and uh, I'd become very unattractive to her.
Mm.
And then for 4 years, I kind of dragged my feet, and I tried everything. Like I tried uh, being a yes man. I tried doing everything that she wanted. I tried being being a different man totally, and
Mm.
none of it worked. And I was just looking um, at my chat that I had with Jake, and it said November 12th was when I had that call with him.
Hmm.
I wasn't at home at the time. I was out of town, and I was very vulnerable. Um, and when as soon as I had finished the call, wife had called to try to figure out because I had paid for the turnaround program.
Mm.
It was something like I don't even know. It was like the lowest payment plan I could take because I couldn't really fork over that much cash all at once. So
Hmm. Hmm.
um, I had taken one of the lowest payment plans, and she wanted to know where that money went because
Mm.
she couldn't see it on the bank app where it went. And her first response to that was, "You got scammed. Somebody's scamming you."
Mm.
And so I was like, "Well, I jumped in with both feet, uh, and I need to see where this goes. I want to see how far the rabbit hole goes because I've tried everything else,
Hmm.
and the more I connected with Noah, uh, or actually even Jake at first, but the more I connected with Noah, the more it made sense to um, like I had lost my way and I needed to become the hero that she fell in love with.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Slowly, she got to certain points where like there was one point like I'm remembering it very vividly. She says, "Why now? Why are you doing this right now? Like, why do you even think it's going to work?"
Yeah, common.
Um, and and I remember Noah telling me that she's going to get to that point where she's gonna be like, "Why now?" Because
Hmm.
she sees whatever progress it is. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but she sees that there's a change, there's something,
Right.
and then her curiosity is going to get triggered, and she's going to want to see more. And and that was one thing Noah kept telling me was she's always going to call you out. She's going to test you. She's going to see your changes, and then she's going to check to see if it's internal or if
Right.
it's just
Right.
external, like it's temporary or it's permanent.
Hmm. Right.
And he was right. She,
Mm.
she kept doing that and doing that and doing that, and it just wasn't clicking for me at first.
Hmm.
Um, and then she worked towards moving out. She actually moved out for a month,
Mm.
moved out to an Airbnb, and I was kind of left sitting at like as Noah was saying, I was left sitting my shit.
Right, right.
So going through that process by myself was very lonely, and um, there's a few times where I got into a place that was so dark that I didn't know if I was going to come back.
Hmm.
Um, I did I did use the Facebook. Uh, I forget what you call it. The
The
man
man
cave.
cave.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I did use that a few times just to kind of get feedback um, over if there were other men who had went through something that was exactly the same because I couldn't go to my friends.
Yeah, yeah.
I was worried that my friends would become judgmental of her and then maybe start attacking her
Mm.
or maybe convince me to do the impossible, which was to fall out of love with her.
Right, right.
So I didn't want to involve them. I didn't want to involve my family either. They're kind of primary. They're they're like the source of um, my I don't know how you would word that. Uh, that was how I became stagnant.
Mm.
Listening to them, right?
Right, right, right.
And so I couldn't involve them. Um, but now as me and the wife have reconnected, like it's crazy. I can't even explain it in words. Like she did a complete 180 one time,
Hmm.
and it was exactly how Noah said. He said that one day she's gonna flip. You're gonna be doing something. You're gonna be doing something by yourself, and she's gonna come walking in, and she's gonna just gonna tell you everything. She's gonna drop everything on your, you know, either in your lap, at your feet, or on your shoulders.
Hmm. Hmm.
And she actually did that.
Yeah.
And what Noah was telling me was he said you have to be ready for that
Right,
because if
right.
you're not ready, then she's gonna go. Why did I even bother to stay? You can't even handle this. You can't handle me.
Right. You got to take advantage of that opportunity.
So after she after she did that, like it was we went on a trip back to our home community because we moved away from our home community maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And then we went back to the home community. She went and saw her parents. I guess she had some heartfelt conversation with her mom. Um, and then we went on to go see some of my like super extended family, like hyper extended family.
Hmm.
Not my siblings or my parents, but like my aunts, my uncles and stuff.
Hmm.
And they were sharing stories back and forth. And she said she was sitting there and she was like, "I have history with this family. Like, why am I trying to throw this away?" Like,
Hmm.
and just that night alone with me, she had a profound reconnection, I guess.
Wow.
And then on our drive back, it was about 3.5 hours. That's all we did was
Awesome.
talked about the future and everything. And I was completely like, okay, this is going somewhere. This is. And then we got home, and it seemed like it had like it had exhausted itself,
Mm.
and we were just gonna go back to the way we were. So I was kind of minding my own business, and then I just happened to look at her, and she says, "I'm going in the shower." And while I was looking at her, she kind of gave me like a
Right, the
like
hint.
her eyes like that, and I'm like, okay, so we're surrounded by uh, my three adult children and my oldest son's partner. So I
Hmm.
can't really ask her, like, so I picked up my phone and I sent her a text. I said, "Was that an invitation?" And then, I looked at her and she's, you're like, nodding.
Right.
Well, all right. So I've actually told this story a few times. I told this uh, to parts of my extended family and my friends, and they all come to the same conclusion. They're like, "Okay, so you were going to the bathroom and you were expecting sex."
Right.
Uh, yeah, pretty much. So I went to the bathroom with her, and we're getting in the shower. She turns on the water. Sex didn't happen.
Mm.
Uh, she grabbed me, and we sat on the floor in the shower for I don't know how long, 40 minutes maybe.
Mm.
We ran out of hot water, and we were
Mhm.
just holding each other. We were uh, talking. We were getting emotional. We were getting out everything. Like we were having that ultimate hard conversation where she was like, "Can I trust you?"
Yeah, yeah.
And then after that, she tells me, she says, let's continue in the bedroom. All right. So we leave, and we did not leave that room for 3 hours.
That's awesome.
And it's just it's been it's been uphill since.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's been a few arguments, but not really full blown arguments. More of just um, communicating. Uh,
Hmm.
she told me she wants the communication to get better. She
Yeah.
wants a big part of what I would do is I would try to smooth everything out by I would say little white lies.
Mm.
Like I mean, I'm saying little white lies, but they
Big
were
turn.
yeah, they were like they made me really unattractive to her.
Mm.
So that was one of her things. She wanted the lies to stop. She wanted the communication to get better. Um, and she was just super apologetic for the way that she'd been handling everything. The way I like to look at it and the way Noah explained it to me was she was looking at me through a negative lens.
Mhm.
And now that negative lens is gone, and now she's like it's so strange. Like uh, I don't know, we're putting up a picture on the wall, and I got the hammer, and she's getting pissed off at me because of the way I'm hammering the nail into the wall.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
she's like, I don't know why I was getting angry at you. I don't know why it was frustrating me, but it was.
Mhm.
Now it's like now it's like almost like I can't do any wrong.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it's just and it's it's exactly the way Noah told me it was gonna happen.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what do you feel like, and honestly, incredible testimony, like number one, to just that initial leap of faith, right? Like you mentioned, you have everybody saying that it's the wrong decision, right? But something, it sounds like something internally told you that it was the right decision for you, and sounded like, for at least what I've heard, that you really committed, right? And took ownership of the situation. And I think that's led to this success, in you being able to repair things there and rebuild that emotional connection. I mean, that's the huge win there. I mean, I know, of course, like you hear that story and you think like what everybody wants to happen there is sex, right? But what you had there, in that shower was so much deeper and more intimate than what sex could ever give you guys. And so that's the huge win for you, at least in my opinion. But I guess like out of out of that whole thing, what do you feel like was your biggest takeaway after, connecting and getting the support from us?
Um, like for the past 4 5 years, I was in a very dark place.
Mhm.
Um, I refused to get help to get support from now. In hindsight, I think I would go looking for more support. I would go looking for some group from the very start, um, because it not only can it help you? Can it make you feel better about yourself? But um, if you're able to get that support from men, like it uh, well, no, I guess it wouldn't sound strange, but you don't typically, as a man, when you're a child, you're kind of taught to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't go to another man because this other man's gonna think you're weak, or you know, um, typically the only guy you can go and talk to is your dad, and you can only talk about certain things. Like we're taught that when we were younger. I mean that's how I was taught.
Right,
Was
right, yeah.
if you're weak if you have to go and talk to another man or a group of men, or oh my God, you're in therapy. Like it's it's such a bad thing
Yeah.
for a guy my age. Like I'm gonna be 43, and that was my first initial thought was like, why am I needing to go and talk to these men? And now they want me to be vulnerable. Like I was really scared of that. I was scared of the change that they were expecting of me.
Yeah.
But I guess my takeaway would be like, I'm so glad that there was that support system there for me, even though I had not learned that as a child. It
Mm-hmm.
was there,
Yeah, yeah.
and there was nothing expected in return.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, if you need this help, if you need this support, a lot of the guys that I had private conversations with, um, they, we would end the conversation and they would say, "I love you, my brother." Like, and to hear that from another man is just weird for me. But then I started I started liking it. Like, it was a brotherhood. Like uh, it wasn't a romantic love. And
Right,
I think
right.
that's how a lot of guys, when they first enter that situation like that, they think that's what's gonna happen. Like, wow, no, I don't love this guy. But then you feel that kinship, you feel
Yeah, yeah.
that brotherhood. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, like it was it was really eye opening.
Mm.
Um, I was primarily raised by women.
Mm.
Um, my dad impregnated my wife, and then he took off. He was gone.
Mm.
So he wasn't. Did I say wife? I mean,
Yeah,
mom.
yeah, mom, yeah.
Sorry, sorry. My wife is standing over there. She distracted me. My my dad came in and impregnated my mom, and then he took off. He
Mm.
wasn't in my life. The only male in my life was my older uncle, and oh he was he was easily in his 50s and 60s when I was a kid, and he was raised by his mother. So he had this special relationship with his mother too, and so that he didn't really like try to push to try to teach me. And everybody, uh, all female. There were no men.
Mm.
So I came into this relationship. Um, I would say thinking from like a female's perspective, almost.
Mm.
Like I was more emotional when I was dealing with things, and to hear that no, that's wrong. Like you're not supposed to be coming at those issues emotionally. You're supposed to stay in your masculine frame and um, support her and ground her and uh,
Mm.
like, and we're not taught that as children. Like I had this discussion with one of my uncles. He's I don't know, he's probably about 15 years older than me, but I was talking to him about it, and I said, as young boys, we're not taught how to deal with women's issues.
Hmm.
Like we're told when we're kids, like like even with going to school, like you're hearing this from your teachers, where you're a provider, basically you're there to solve problems. And
Hmm.
then going into this program, it was the first thing that we were told: you're not there to solve the problem.
Hmm.
90% of the time, she already knows the answer to the problem. She just wants you to demonstrate that you understand what she's going through.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that was probably the most difficult concept for me to uh, grasp, was to I'm not here to solve that problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the way she was wording it, it was like she wanted me to.
Hmm.
And then when I would try to solve it, she would get frustrated with me, because then I would abandon my masculine frame and end up in her, uh, like I would end up in her frame, and then I would adopt her emotional state, and then I would get angry. Then she can't experience her her emotions, because now she's worried about me. Now she's got to take care of me. And uh, just to, like, make a long story short, she mothered me.
Hmm.
She turned into mom,
Yeah.
and then I would turn into dad, and it's just a vicious cycle. And there's zero attraction there.
Hmm.
Um, you can't really can't really expect your wife to want to be with want to be romantic with a man who can't demonstrate that he's a man.
Hmm. Hmm.
And now I'm grasping with, I have to teach this to my two sons.
Hmm. So the cycle doesn't continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
I mean,
well, they already have partners, so I'm just trying to, like, steer them in the right direction. Like, um, so I guess we'll see where that goes. But
no, that's
uh,
amazing. What a incredible testimony to really committing to this and doing that inner work that's needed, for you guys to be able to reconnect and give her, what she needs out of that relationship, right? And so she's actually fulfilled within the relationship, and you guys begin thriving. Of course, there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be issues that come up, but the goal is to have those hard conversations together, and from that you come out stronger. I mean, at least that's what I've noticed in my own relationship, right? And so, really appreciate, the story and your commitment to this, because it really shows, that's why the results are happening for you. So, I guess, do you have like any thoughts on, Noah's level of feedback and action steps and boxer support?
um, you you can tell he tried to follow a plan. he was he was God bless him. He pulled out a plan, and he tried to get me to follow it. But uh, the situation that I was going through, it was changing day to day and day to day. And I would continually update him whenever something wouldn't fall through, and I would get frustrated, and I would get terrified, because
Mhm.
my wife would tell me, "I'm done. I'm moving out." Uh, you know, I'd be asking her something, and maybe it was something personal, and she'd tell me, "No, no, that's none of your business. We're not a couple. Uh, and like by this point, we had filled in the separation papers, so we were basically a hop, skip, and a jump away from divorce,
Right, right.
and that scared the shit out of me.
Hmm.
Um, and so I would message Noah, and then his response would be, Josh, oh my God, like stop. Like he's like, you're spiraling. I could hear it, like, when you're, and so it was a lot of like, I was messaging him back and um, he was, um, I guess he could have been, I don't know, giving me a spanking, like, no, no, stop. Like, like,
Right,
and
right,
then
right.
he would steer me in the right direction, and then I would be good for a couple of days. Then something wouldn't fall through again. Then I'd have to go back to him. So he kept having to change the way that we were, approaching it. He kept
Hmm.
having to change that. Um, so for him to be able to juggle that, plus I, I'm not even sure how many other clients he had, but um,
Yeah, many and that is something where,
I
Noah
think what,
is so
yeah, yeah,
attentive, and supporting tons of clients, still being able to adjust the plan with you and adapt as things are going. I think, I can understand how, that was helpful for you. So, no, I appreciate that. And so I guess like, really the main question for you is, if you knew somebody in this situation, like, would you recommend it to other people?
yeah. Um, I I have a few friends. I'm a little suspicious that they're going through something similar.
Mm,
Is they carry themselves different. They speak about certain things different, and
mm,
of course they're around the same age as me. Like, so, and to be to be perfectly honest, I'm I know that it would make them happy
mm,
if they were to get the support that I did, because honestly, I think I did the impossible.
mm,
I got my wife back, who had completely checked out, completely. Like,
mm,
she was there was a time where we were out, and even if I was to get a little emotional and I get a teardrop going down my cheek, she'd be bawling, she'd be crying. And we were on a trip somewhere, and I had gotten emotional, and this was full on crying, and then just having to look at her, and she goes, "I'll leave you with your emotions," and she left.
mm, mm,
Like, there was no care whatsoever. But I
mm.
somehow hooked her, and I and I got her back. I did the impossible. I got my wife back, and I couldn't be happier.
Wow, wow. Well, Josh, no, I mean, I appreciate you, sharing that story with me. I mean, I mean, just an incredible story of being able to, be in such a rough position and uh, really just gaining that understanding of yourself, and being able to make those changes within your relationship and get back to a point where it sounds like you guys are doing well.
Oh yeah, but better than ever.
Oh, amazing to hear. So, man, what a testimony to committing yourself. And, at the end of the day, I just want to congratulate you on doing the work. I mean, just because so many people don't, right? So many people want a quick fix, a magic bullet. But the true change is it comes in the work, in those challenges, in those conversations. So again, thank you for spending the time with me. So